Hello guys, how are you all? So I hope you all are healthy and studying regularly. So in this lecture we will be starting off our new unit, which is market failure, and it is unit number 3. And in the previous class we did the fair allocation and we completed its numerical. Okay. So what is market failure? So it is basically the failure of the optimality condition, that what you were expecting to, that in economic we want everything to be best possible, the most efficient way. But if that efficient way is not achieved, the efficient allocation is not achieved, whether it is from the allocation side or from the distribution side, there is the market failure. So market failure refers to the failure of optimality condition, in short. Okay, so in case of market failure, competitive market fails to allocate resources efficiently, or fails to distribute goods efficiently, or fails to produce efficient combination of good. Okay, so how does market failure arise? Now this question comes in mind, that how does it occur? Okay, so there are three possibilities for market failure to happen. Okay, and the first possibility is presence of externality. Okay, so this is the first case. You all have studied externality in your 12th standard also, and in your previous semesters also. So what is externality now? When the action of an there are two type of externality, positive and negative, we all know. So when an action of economic agent create cost for other, but that cost is not borne by that economic agent, then what type of externality is it? Negative one. Okay. Similarly, however, when an action of an economic agent create benefit for the other for which no payment is received, then it is the case of positive externality. Okay, this is positive externality. So the term externality refers to the both external cost and external benefit, and in the presence of externality, competitive market fails. So if I give you the example of externality, suppose there are two students living in a sharing basis PG. Okay, and what one let it be Ram and Sham. Okay, so Ram is a very hard smoker. Okay, he smoke all the time, so he is creating a negative externality for the Sham. Okay, and he is not also bearing the cost of that, whatever the disease Sham may have from the smoke he is producing from the cigarettes. Okay, so this is the example of negative externalities. Similarly, if Sham install a TV in his bedroom in the PG, okay, and he asked Ram for the money, but Ram says no, I won't watch TV, so I won't give any money. Okay, so what Sham does, Sham puts the TV by its own only, but after the TV is on the PG, the Ram also peek out from his room and see the TV every time. So this is the kind of positive externality for Ram, who was a smoker. Okay, and which he has not, which from which he has not paid any payment, or for which Sham has not received any payment for it. Okay, so these were the example of positive and negative externality. So what happens in the negative externality? I'll show you with the diagram that how it lead to the market failure. So what is the private optimum? If there is no externalities, what will be the private optimum condition? It is P is equal to MC. But what does what does negative externality does? It increases the cost. Okay, it increases the cost. So we will we will say this cost as social marginal cost. Okay, so earlier the cost was MC, but now due to negative externality there is some more cost. Okay, which is known as marginal externality cost in case of negative externality. So your marginal cost increased from MEC, and this whole summation is known as social marginal cost. So now your new optimum, which is known as social optimum, is P is equal to SMC. Okay. If I want to show you this from the diagram, it will be like this. This is your price. This is your earlier MC. So wait, this is your MC earlier, and you were producing this one XP. Let us say private optimum P, but now your marginal cost has increased to SMC. So it will shift upward. It will be here SMC, and your production will reduce to XX. See, this was the efficient bundle, but he is only producing this due to the externality. That is why the market failure occurs. Now we move on to positive externality. Now what happens in case of positive externality? Okay, and in this case also, if you see that his cost is increasing, so he is underproducing. His cost increase, so underproduction. Is producing underproduction. That's why it is the market failure. Whether he do underproduction or overproduction, this is the case of market failure only. As long as he is not producing the efficient level, it will be considered as the market failure only. Okay, so in case of positive externality, what will be the private optimum? It will remain same, price equal to MC. But what will be the social optimum now? Okay, now in the negative externality, it increases the marginal cost, right? But now in the positive externality, it will increase the benefit. So what will it increase? It will increase your price so that you get the external benefit, remaining your marginal cost being fixed. So we will term it as social marginal benefit. Here social marginal cost, here social marginal benefit, price plus the benefit you got from the positive externality, which is marginal externality MEB, marginal externality benefits. Okay, so now your social optimum will be MC remains same, SMB is equal to MC. Okay, so it is good for the firm, but it will still not be a efficient condition, since in this case there will be overproduction. And if I show through the diagram, this is the price, okay, and marginal cost remains same. This is your MC. What does so positive externality has done? It has increased the price. So your new price is, this is SMB, which you call, and if you see what is this difference, this difference is MEB, marginal external benefit. So earlier you were producing XP this much, now you are producing XS. This is the social one. So from this, what is doing here is that from the benefit which you got from marginal external benefit, it has done overproduction. So earlier there was underproduction, now here it's overproduction. So this is both the case of externality, and I have shown how does it lead to the market failure. So this was from the point of view of production. Now we will see from the point of view of consumption. So we will start off with our now consumption externality. Okay, so we will start off now by consumption externality. So now we will start with what is consumption externality. Okay, and we will show this in a Edgeworth box. So now suppose that there are two roommates A and B who have preferences over money and smoke. Okay, so it is assumed that both persons prefer money, but A like to smoke while B like clean air. Okay, so they have two alternatives, money and smoke. One has money and smoke and the other has money and clean air. Okay, so as a result, consumption externality has been caused by the action of the person A, because you know that clean air is free. Okay, so and smoke is chargeable, so externality is created by the one By the one who smokes. Okay, so it is created by the person A. So there are two persons, A and B. A is a smoker. Okay, they have choice between what? They both like money. Okay, so now if I show this in the Edgeworth box, I'll just make one Edgeworth box now. Okay, and just drawing this line. Okay, so let's read further, or we can just mark down the axis. We can draw afterwards. He is choosing between smoke and money. Similarly, B is choosing between money, and here it won't come smoke, it will come clean air. Okay, so now the endowment will depend upon the property rights. Okay, the property rights and how are they assigned. It's just like who is the owner of the house and who has the money basically. Okay, so it is like that only, that I have the property rights, that I have the papers of the property and it is under my name, so the property right is with me. So it is like that. Okay, so if property right is given to person A, then endowment will be what? Endowment will be bundle which we will name as WA. So where do we keep WA? If the property right is with A, here will be the endowment. A will take all the money. A has all the money if the property right is with the A. Similarly, if the property right is the B, then all the money will be with the B. Okay, so it will be like this only, because the money is constant, so it will be same. If the right is with the B, so it will be WB, and similarly if the right with the A, it will be WA. So it is like that. Okay, so I guess I made a mistake. There it will be WA, because if the, and it will be WB. So because if the property rights are with WA, it means that he will do whatever he wants to do in the house. So what he will do the most? He will maximize the smoke and he won't take any clean air, right? Because the property rights are with the A. Okay, and since money is constant, so if this will be in between, then it will be equal. And if you want to see from B point of view, if the property rights are with B, so what will B take the most? B will take the clean air. Okay, so endowment of B will be something which is this distance from here, na? It will be equal distance from here. Okay, let's take it B, because the money is constant, so I am taking WB here. Okay, and if both is the center, then they can come at a single line. Okay, so because money is constant, but they have to decide between clean air and smoke. So property right assign them that whether if it is with A, so he can do whatever he wants in the room and he will maximize the smoke because he is a smoker, and B doesn't. And if the property rights are with B, then B will minimize the smoke and maximize the clean air because he will hate smoke. And if the property rights are weak, it means that he can do whatever he wants to do, so he will maximize the clean air. So this is what about the property right. It was not about the money, okay, but it was about that whether what right do you have in the home, that what are you allowed to do and to what extent. Okay, and so now if we want to see if we want to see from A point of view first, okay, and the budget line will be such, passing from the endowment, let's say this is the budget line, and there will be some IC for A and some for B, and there will be XA. So this will be the equilibrium when the property rights will be with A. Okay, here also if you can see here smoke is maximum and clean air is 0 at this point, and similarly here clean air is maximum and smoke is 0. So it is such. Okay, and if you see here, this is also Pareto efficient, since all the market equilibrium is Pareto efficient, because all the condition of Pareto efficiency is fulfilled at this point. Similarly, if the property right is given to the B, then person B can sell his right for money, right? In that case, final allocation will be XB. What will be XB? X will be, I have just combined two diagrams, okay? This is one diagram, this is the other one. So this is the second case. I am just showing you in one only, so that you know comparatively. So I have just clubbed the diagram and showed it in the Edgeworth box or capsule form. Okay, so here will be same thing. If the rights with B, it will be budget line passing through the endowment, and it will be XB. And this market equilibrium is also Pareto efficient. So what does it implies? What does it implies? It implies that when property rights are properly defined, then exchange is possible, and through exchange we can attain efficient allocation. However, problem arises when property rights are not well defined, and in that situation market failure arises. So it also says that if your if your property rights are clearly assigned, and you know whatever you have to do in the apartment, or whatever the case will be, so then there won't be any market failure. But if the property right is not assigned, and they don't know that how much to smoke and what to do, that whether they can have clean air, how much clean air they should have, and how much smoke he should do, so there will be inefficiency in the market, and they won't be able to come at the market equilibrium, which is Pareto efficient. There will be always inefficiency in case of when the property rights are not well defined. Okay, this is the case of when property rights are well defined, so there was no market failure. When property rights are well defined. Okay, so this is the case. Now we will see our second case or second preference, which is quasi-linear preference. This is the second topic basically, or this is also known as Coase theorem, COASC. This is a star rating topic, and it comes in exam. Okay, it comes in exam every time. So this is the important topic. Every topic is important, but we can just say if someone is not studying and studying in the night before exam only, so these are for them only. Otherwise you have to study all the topics. So we must note that the amount of smoke in the room depends on property rights in the above case, that is distribution of wealth. But there is a special case now, and the special case is this one only, quasi-linear preferences, where outcome of externality is independent of assignment of property right, and it is the only one case. Okay, so what happened in quasi-linear? I'll show you. If I show you by the diagram, there will be a single line which and there will be ICs which will pass through this only, and and your equilibrium will always come in this line only. Okay, which is also known as vertical or horizontal translates, right? So if you draw here, this will be for A, OA, OB. Similarly, this will be for B. So this is XA, this is XB, this is XC. Because in this case, irrespective of the distribution of wealth, it is already defined that this level of smoke should be there and this level of clean air should be there in the room. It is already defined, because this is the case of quasi-linear preferences, that irrespective of the income level, you cannot change the consumption of the non-linear product. Okay, so this is like this. So the equilibrium will come on this line, and irrespective of the property rights, assignment of property rights, there won't be any inefficiency. Okay, so this was the quasi-linear preference case. Okay, so this result in which externality is independent from distribution of property right, it is known as Coase theorem. Therefore, reallocation of endowment, that whatever you do with the reallocation of endowment does not affect the efficient amount of externality. It also implies that Coase theorem will be valid only when income effect is zero. That is, income is non-linear good in this case. Okay, so this is the case of quasi-linear preference. It does not affect the efficient amount of externality because it has been already specified. Also, here income effect is zero, that whatever you increase the income, you cannot increase your smoke level, that no matters how much income will increase. Okay, that also means that your income effect is zero. So this was the case of consumption externality. So now we are going to see about this was all about consumption externality. Now we will see about production externalities. I gave you the brief also, but this is something different. Okay, so now let's consider a situation involving production externality, which arises when production possibilities of one firm are influenced by choice of another firm. Suppose that one firm is steel firm and other firm is fishery firm. So there are two firms, steel and fisheries, right? And their cost function are given as this. This is of steel and this is of fishery, cost function of fishery firm. Okay, where S can be termed as the labor or raw material for steel, and F can be termed as similar labor of raw material or raw material for the fishery firm. Okay, and similarly here X is the pollution. It is also dependent on the pollution. Okay, so now let's move on. So now we see the relation of pollution with their production. So if you see the steel firm, what steel firm does, whatever the pollution they produce, they just throw it out in the river where fishery firm operate. So if you see from steel firm point of view, the cost function will with respect to steel will be negative. The cost decreases as the pollution increases because it will lead to their large scale production, and they are also not liable to pay for the pollution they are creating. Similarly, the pollution they are creating is thrown out in the river, which is affecting the fish. The fish are dying due to the pollution created by industry. So if you see from the fishery point of view, it will be greater than zero. Their cost increases as their pollution increases. Okay, so now we will see the profit maximization function for the steel and fishery firm. So what will be for the steel firm? Steel firm, max pi will be price of steel into steel produced, quantity of steel, this is QS, okay, minus their cost. Similarly, for fishery firm, it will be max profit will be PF into QF, I am writing it as F, and similarly the cost function. Okay, so now in this we must note that the steel firm get the chance to choose the amount of pollution that it generates, but fishery firm must take the level of pollution as given. You know that steel firm has the authority to produce how much they can produce, so how much they will produce, they will create the pollution according to that only. Okay, and the pollution they will create is independent of the fishery firm, but the production which fishery firm is going to do will be dependent on the pollution they are creating. If they are creating less pollution, then less fish will die and they will produce more, and similarly if they are producing more pollution, more fish will die and they are going to produce less. Okay. So what will be the profit maximizing condition now? So for steel, profit maximizing condition will be price equal to marginal cost, and marginal cost will be Sx star and x star, okay, upon delta S. So this will be some price with respect to this. Similarly, we will find with respect to x also the pollution, but the steel firm is not paying anything for the pollution, so it will be 0. Is not paying anything for the pollution he is creating, so it cost him 0. Similarly, if you see from the fishery point of view, it will be F star and X star delta F, and also if you do with respect to this also, it will create some cost which will be your px. Here it won't be 0, it will be px, x star upon delta f x. Sorry. Okay. So the condition determining profit maximizing quantity of the pollution is that quantity where MC of an extra unit of pollution reduces to 0. In this case, there is an externality caused by the steel firm, but it is ignoring the social cost it is creating with the pollution, and which the fishery firm is bearing its social cost. So it is ignoring that cost. So in that case, he is creating the externality in case of product. So that's it for today's class. In the next class, we'll see how to achieve the Pareto efficient condition with different cases. There can be merger or imposition of tax or assignment of property rights. There are many things. So we will see that under these cases only, how do we achieve